Hi, my name is Nupur Sista, and I'm going to talk about online identity and the reality of self-image. In Hinduism, an avatar from the Sanskrit avatara or descent is a deliberate descent of a deity to earth or a descent of the Supreme Being, and is mostly translated into English as incarnation, but more accurately as appearance or manifestation. In the online world, an avatar is the graphical representation of the user or the user's alter ego or character. It may take either a three-dimensional form as in games or virtual worlds, or a two-dimensional form as an icon in internet forums and other online communities. It is an object representing the user. The term avatar can also refer to the personality connected with the screen name of an internet user. The use of avatar to mean online virtual bodies was popularized by Neil Stephenson in his 1992 cyberpunk novel Snow Crash, where the term avatar was used to describe the virtual simulation of the human form in the metaverse, a fictional virtual reality application on the internet. Concepts similar to the metaverse have appeared under a variety of names in the cyberpunk genre of fiction as far back as 1981 in the novella True Names. An avatar is a reference to the availability of and the access to anonymity with multiple identities via pseudonyms in the web world. To use Marshall McLuhan's phrase, we live today in a global village that is increasingly connected through a network of online connectivity. Social networking sites have helped to create these human links. We live substantial parts of our lives interacting with others in different ways on the internet highway. We socialize, shop, read, interact, share, date, create new friends, keep in touch with old friends, look for jobs and opportunities, comment, write articles, email, book our travel tickets. The list is seemingly endless, and yet many parts of our true selves are hidden from the online world. Mark Zuckerberg had famously said, "Having two identities of yourself is an example of a lack of integrity," although he later clarified saying that, "I wasn't making a value judgment. Maintaining multiple identities, whether it's as simple as publishing some photos to Picasa and others to Facebook, is becoming a high trend in online life." Problems arise when we begin to construe this hype as reality and hide the reality in order to maintain the hype. This is where real isolation occurs. An existence that involves hiding from one's real self creates loneliness and isolation. In this film, Hi, How Are You Guest 10497, a young woman living alone in Manhattan tries to find a way out of her solitude through connections in the strange new world of the online network. Through this simple departure point, complex issues emerge. What is it to be alone? What is it being one's self? Raimonda Schierte, in a beautiful and understated performance, explores these questions by becoming a mirror for seeing our global interconnected boredom and loneliness. It gives visibility to how images of ourselves are created in our digital society. It is an exploration of what it means to inhabit a system where identity is always and already enmeshed in the web of becoming. It becomes a precursor to our interactions in real-life spaces with other people, and whether or not our online identities follow us around in real life. These are film clips from one of the WOW projects. The project takes the mode of publicizing players' names that's typical of online 3D worlds and transfers it into the physical domain of everyday life. Participants of the workshop construct their own name out of cardboard and then parade around in public with it hovering above their head. What happens when a person's customary anonymity in the public sphere is obliterated by the principles operative in virtual worlds online? The project is a workshop and intervention in public space that uses computer play worlds as a means of calling attention to the changing ways people deal with privacy and identity in the public sphere. Every day, millions of people spend a great deal of time in online virtual worlds. They congregate there to go on adventures, solve puzzles, experiment with new digital artifacts. In his book Simulacra and Simulation, Jean Baudrillard says, "The simulacrum is never that which conceals the truth. It is the truth which conceals that there is none. The simulacrum is true." In the 2004 movie Closer, written by Patrick Marber and directed by Mike Nichols, Dan Wolfe, played by Jude Law, an unsuccessful British writer who writes obituaries for a national newspaper, enters a cyber-sex chat room and randomly meets Larry Gray, played by Clive Owen, a British dermatologist. Dan pretends to be Anna, played by Julia Roberts, as he is taken up with her a year since he met her and still plays on his mind. He pretends to be her online. He simulates verbal cybersex. He uses this pretense to indicate a possible encounter in real life and convinces Larry to meet at the aquarium. Larry, believing the online authenticity of Anna and his authentic online encounter with her, turns up with the promise of sex and meets the real Anna, eventually figuring out that he had been set up. This example sums up Jean Baudrillard's divine irreverence of images, successive phases of the image in which the scenario of Dan pretending to be someone he is not, and Larry believing Dan to be someone he is not. The scene is a reflection of a basic reality. It masks and perverts a basic reality. It masks the absence of a basic reality. In working towards conveying the concept of multiple identities online, I turned to the Hindu mythology of the Trimurti, meaning having three forms, a term applied to the three main Hindu gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, representing all aspects of the Supreme Being. The Trimurti is depicted as a single-bodied, three-headed man representing the Creator, the Protector, and the Destroyer. In the contemporary online terminology, people may prefer to verbalize as opposed to others who may prefer to visualize. Those who prefer to visualize may do so by means of avatars or web graphics or any other form of online identities and personas. The chosen media possibly interlocks with the degree of identity integration and disassociation, with the extent to which a person presents a real or imaginary self. For the artifact based on my thesis, I was inspired by the Rubik's Cube, as the multiple sections remind me of pixels on a computer. The form itself offered me a platform to explore the multiple facets of online identity. I wanted to take forward the concept of the Trimurti also, as I believe that there exists in each of us a creator, protector, and destroyer. I looked at the aspect of an individual cube, which seems to have multiple layers, but is however actually a two-dimensional visual which is flat, thereby playing with the idea of the illusion of reality of our online selves. Online identity, which is, in a manner of speaking, a resemblance of the real self, however, is actually not the real self, but a simulacra, to refer to the term coined by philosopher Jean Baudrillard. It overpowers the reality of self-image and creates for some a schizophrenic, complex online identity. Cyberspace allows those who interact with this medium to embellish, redact, tweak their online identity, allowing them to create a superhero, super ego image of themselves, which usually does in most cases outshine the foibles, misdeeds, embarrassments that constitute a person's real identity. It isolates us from each other and from ourselves in the binary world. Our online avatars are really Maya, translated from Sanskrit meaning an illusion. We seem to offer multi-layered dimensions of our personalities online. However, in the end, it is all an illusion within a two-dimensional space. It does not really offer the others an insight into our real lives, all aspects of ourselves, only perhaps a fraction of it. On the internet, nobody knows you're a dog. This adage began as a cartoon caption that appeared in The New Yorker on July 5, 1993, by cartoonist Peter Steiner. It is an appropriate reference to the availability of and the access to anonymity with multiple identities via pseudonyms in the web world. Facebook and Google have recently challenged notions of anonymity in the virtual world. People are leaning towards the idea of authenticity to create a value in the platform that provides confidence in a person when they say who they are, rather than someone pretending to be someone they are not. With this premise, authentic identity then becomes non-anonymous. The other side of this argument is that social networks' success does not need to rely on this direct link between online and offline identity. This brings us to the introspection of our own online course at Savannah College of Art and Design. How has this medium of education changed us and the way in which we interact with education? How do we interact with our peers online? Is the self that we project in our courses a controlled self? Would it be different on campus? We are products of our environment and largely of cyber world today, with the ability to create multiple pseudonyms, authentic identities notwithstanding, in an intangible online world. We can explore areas we would have never imagined otherwise possible with our real selves, enjoying lurking around in our anonymity. How much information of the real self does an authentic email ID give? As we increasingly interact for a better part of our lives with cyberspace and cyber interactions, we create new layers of becoming the simulacrum of what we consider to be our real selves. Are our real selves really all that real? In the end, research and introspection on this subject has only thrown it open to further reflection and questions. Here is a list of my references for this presentation. Last but not least, thank you to everyone in the course and to Professor Louise for all the help and pointers in putting this presentation together. Thank you for listening.